Okay, total blonde moment. I had this epic looking tag where I was holding all those books and the box up like this, and I wasn't recording. This is Stephanie and I'm Stacks on Stacks on Stacks. Today I have a bit of a book haul for you guys. This is my June book haul. This is actually a lot of books to haul and I don't want this video to be super duper long. So I'm going to be very brief with my descriptions of all of these because a book haul is basically to share the excitement of the books I got with you guys, tell you about them so that you can hear about lots and lots and lots of new books. All right, let's get started. So I basically have three categories for this one. I have books that I got in book subscription boxes last month. I have my first book outlet order of the month, and then I have my second book outlet order of the month, which is still in the box. And I'm super excited to open it. I actually can't believe that I have held off this long. So the first ones I'm going to talk about, I will link the subscription unboxings I did down below. I think I talk in more detail what they're about there. I'm just going to tell you the name of the book, the author. First one we have is Dividing Eden, and this is by Joelle Charbonneau. I don't know. I should ask my sister. She speaks French. When Dimple Med Rishi, and this is by Sendhya Menon. I really hope I said that right. The Wild Woman's Guide to Traveling the World by Kristen Rockaway. New World Rising by Jennifer Wilson. Sandcastle Empire by Kayla Olson. We have Newt's Emerald by Garth Nix. I have As the Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black. Next, I have the Jane Austen Project, and this is by Kathleen A. Flynn. There's Ramona Blue by Julie Murphy. Eliza and Her Monsters by Francesca Zippia. All right, next section is box number 1 that I got from Book Outlet from the first half of the month. We can label this box buying my feelings instead of eating my feelings. I don't know. I was just in the mood for a couple new books, so I bought like 20. Okay, there's only 15 here. I feel a little bit better about that. First book I have is Bridget Jones' Baby, and this is by Helen Fielding. I have read all the other Bridget Jones books, so I'm presuming I like this one. I actually loved the movie. This is kind of a 2.0 because I've read the first 3 books, and this one kind of falls between the first and the second one, which actually kind of spoils it for me. I haven't read it yet because I know what goes on in the third book. So I know who her daddy is and things like that, but I'll still like it. I love reading Bridget Jones like any old time. Next book is The Boy in the Striped Pajamas by John Boyne. And this is basically a book about a boy who is in a concentration camp during World War II, and he makes friends with a boy who is not. He's like on the outside wires and stuff like that. And I know I'll cry when I read this book. I will read this book. So yeah. Next, I have Austenland by Shannon Hale. Now, this has something to do with Jane Austen, and that is why I bought it. I know nothing else about it, except that it has something to do with Jane Austen and Pride and Prejudice, and those are 2 things that I like a lot. The next book I bought was The Dressmaker, and this is by Elizabeth Birkeland Oberbeck. That's kind of a long name. This was a bit of a cover buy. I thought it was beautiful. And I enjoy fashion, not usually on my body and other people's bodies. I know it is about a guy who is like commissioned to make a wedding dress for a woman, and he kind of starts to fall in love with her. I think there's a movie about this. I'm not really certain, but it does look like a good book that I'll read eventually. The next book I have is Everland by Wendy Spinell. Now this is a Peter Pan retelling. That's about all I know about it. That's about all I need to know about it. This is going on my TBR. The next 2 books I have are Ice Like Fire and Frost Like Night by Sarah Rausch, and these are in the Snow Like Ashes trilogy. Now, I have the first book, and it's one that I've kind of wanted to read, and now I have all 3 books, so I probably need to read them. I've heard good things, and they do sound super interesting. I couldn't tell you what it's about right now, but I bet Goodreads could. Next, I have Like a River Glorious by Ray Carson. It's such a pretty cover. You got to check this out. So beautiful. I have the first book. I haven't read it, but I've read Ray Carson's series, the Girl of Thorn and Fire series, and I really, really, really liked it. So I imagine I'll like the series, but I do think there's a third one coming out, so I might kind of wait until I start it, but I own it now. Next, I have Pride and Prejudice, the manga edition. I told you, if it's Pride and Prejudice, I'm probably going to buy it. Now, it's not full manga Pride and Prejudice, which actually I saw one of those at the library. I will probably get it and read it, but it does have some really beautiful pictures in it, just at the beginning and stuff like that, like pretty manga versions of Jane and Elizabeth and her sisters. I just really like the story. Next, I have Violins of Autumn by Amy McAuley. This is also a cover by. I don't know a lot about it. It's very pretty, but more of a cover by as in it looks like it takes place during World War II, which I enjoy, and it looks like it's got something to do with spies or undercover something, which I also enjoy, and it says violin, and I love stringed instruments. I played the cello for 8 years. It's just, oh, I want to read this book. Next, I have My Lady Jane by Cynthia Hand, Brody Ashton, and Jodi Meadows. Now, I have heard a ton about this book, so I was super excited when I heard that it was on sale, and I was like, I'm going to buy this book. It's going to be fantastic. Basically, it's a story of Lady Jane Grey, but it's, let's just say, a more creative version versus the truth. I've heard it's hilarious and fun, and I am definitely looking forward to reading this. Next, I have Flamecaster by Cinda Williams Chima. Now, this is my first Cinda Williams Chima book. I'm so excited. I have heard about her books a lot from Peru's Project, but from a couple other ones too, about how great they are. So I want to read this one. I'm really not certain if this is the book to start with or if I need to get a different one, but you know, when books are on sale at Book Outlet, you just buy them. You just do. Next, I have Emma, a modern retelling by Alexander McCall Smith. Again, ooh, let's see if we can get this. There we go. This is a Jane Austen retelling, ergo, I'm gonna like it. Next, we have Dreamer's Pool by Juliette Marillier. Now, I've heard about this book, but I've heard about this author. And when I saw this book for $2 in Book Outlet, I was like, I'm going to get that book, and I'm going to read that book, and I'm going to figure out why people like this author. So that is all I know about this book, is that it's supposed to be good. So I got it. And last, I have To Capture What We Cannot Keep by Beatrice Cullen. Now, I also can't remember what this is about. I knew what it was about when I bought it. And I knew it was a book that had been talked about on BookTube, and somebody had referred and said, hey, it's a great historical fiction book. If you like historical fiction, you like this book. And I was like, I like historical fiction. So I bought this book. Good story, right? And now I have my 21-pound box. I don't remember how many books are in here, but I do remember I was very interested in most of these books, and I actually read quite a few. So, I have a problem. My handy dandy knife, which I've decided my knife's name is Daniel, because my brother-in-law Daniel gave it to me. When he gave it to me, all I thought was, when am I going to use a pocket knife? I'm not one of those girls that keeps a pocket knife on her. My roommate does, but not me. All right, let's see what's in the box. Ooh, paper. The first one is The Wool by Hugh Howey. Now, I straight up got this because April Sarah goes on and on and on and on about how amazing this book is. So I got it because I was like, well, I think I like April Sarah, and I think I like a lot of her opinions. So I'm gonna give it a shot. Next, I have 10,000 Skies Above You by Claudia Gray. And I believe that this is a sequel to 1,000 Pieces of You, which I haven't read yet, but actually I have been this close to putting on my TBR every month. And now apparently I have the second book. I don't know if it's a series, a trilogy, a duology, or what, but I have 2 books. Alrighty, so next I stumbled upon some Philippa Gregory. They actually have a lot of Philippa Gregory, but I didn't get them all. I got The Red Queen, The Lady of the Rivers, The Other Boleyn Girl, and The White Queen. Now, initially, I did look up what order I'm supposed to be reading these books in, so I got the first 4 because I kind of can see that I'm approaching a bit of a historical fiction mood, so I thought I might just burn through these books really, really, really fast, and I'm glad to own them now. Next, I got Sapphire Blue by Kirsten Gear. Now I know what you're thinking, Steph, you have those books. They're right back here. I do, but those are the soft covers, and now I have all 3 of the hard covers, which are pretty as well. I also got I'm Not Your Manic Pixie Dream Girl by Gretchen McNeil. And I know this is a contemporary, and I know I'm not in the mood for contemporary, but when I read the synopsis of this book, I was like, that kind of sounds really great. So it's about a girl who's good at math, and she actually figures out a mathematical equation that will make you popular in school, which, don't we all kind of wish that might have existed 20 years ago? But then people are people, and things are changing in her life, so she's looking to find another mathematical equation, I think, to make other things change in her life. I'm a little foggy in that part, but it sounded quirky and it sounded fun, so I thought, why not? And the next 2 books that I got are Tatiana and Alexander and The Summer Garden by Paulina Simons. Now, I have read the first book, and I don't think I finished this one. I think I started it and didn't finish it, but this is a series I want to finish. This is kind of one of my guilty pleasure reads. It's like, it's pretty romancy, but then it has all this historical stuff in it too, so I like it a lot. And now I own the whole set. Next, I got 2 Agatha Christie books. I know, big surprise. I got Destination Unknown, and I got 3-Act Tragedy. I have no idea what these are about, but I know they're Agatha Christie, and I know that I have enjoyed all the Agatha Christie I've read so far, so I will probably enjoy these too. The next books I got are all in the Fairyland series by Catherine M. Valente. First one is Fairyland in the Ship of Her Own Making. I don't have the second one, but I did get the third one, Fairyland and Cut the Mood in Two. The fourth one, Lost Fairyland. And the fifth one, Raced Fairyland All the Way Home. These are middle grade books. I'm not 100% sure what they're about, but they sound really good and they're not very long, so I imagine I will read them soon. I also got Between the Lines by Jodi Picoult and Samantha Van Leer. Now, I bought the second book in the series about 2 months ago. Didn't really realize that it was the second book in the series, but now that I have the first one, I can read the series. Yay! The last 2 books I found were Magonia and Ari, and they are both by Maria Davana Headley. Now, I haven't really heard anything about these books, but I saw them in Book Outlet. I read the description. It sounded pretty interesting. I think it's about a girl who basically finds out that she can enter an alternate timeline, and herself in that alternate timeline needs help. And that's about all I know about it, but it sounds pretty interesting. I enjoy time travel books. I also enjoy, moving through time in any way, shape, or form books. So I am excited about these books. I don't know when I'm going to read them, but they definitely are going to go on my TBR shelf because they sound interesting. If you know anything about this series, let me know down below because I definitely would love to hear an opinion on these. All right, guys, that was 46 books that I bought in 1 month. The problem is I don't think I'm going to read 46 books next month, so I think I really need to put a bit of a halt on this book buying, though I've been very, very good up until now, for the most part. Go ahead and tell me down below what one of all of these books that I hauled today you think I should put on my July TBR. Whatever gets the most votes, I'll lean into that one. Please click like if you like this video. Also feel free to click subscribe. I put out videos on Tuesdays and Fridays. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you soon with my next video. Goodbye! We have the Jane Austen part. I got it going. I also got I'm Not Your Manic Pixie Dream Girl. Did I say that right? Marillier. Juliet Marillier. Next on my list is Everland, and this is by Wendy Spinell. I know, I have a problem. I know.